Good morning, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and welcome, fans of the Overwatch community, to the EMEA Open Division Grand Finals, where we have Fourth Dimension climbing back out of the lower bracket to face the winners bracket champions, ifgwuayg. Eat your
Uh,
heart out. I got it, baby. Woo! We're Captain Jack and Ocean here to bring you the casting you know and love today, along with Grissom and Demon's Druid on production. Now, Ocean, it all comes down to this. Both of these folks are locked in to Contenders Trials Europe, and to be honest, I can't be more excited to see which one truly comes out on top.
yeah, it's exciting, particularly from the fourth dimension standpoint, right? Because they
Mm-hmm.
finished third in last Open Division, right? So they're
Mm-hmm.
one spot away from that Contenders Trial spot. And honest, I remember casting on series and they probably should have got there. I think they kind of bottled it. But this time around, there's been no bottling. They've been really, really strong in the series they've had. I think the only series they really slipped up in was their winners final game against the same team that they're playing in our grand finals. So we're set up for a pretty good one.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see such a dominant force as if Gua Gaia Wagaga Wall to be able to take such an you know what? I spent so long learning this over the past 24 hours, I'm gonna use it a couple times. All right. But nevertheless, seeing this team come out from just kind of nowhere. I mean, some of the players are definitely recognizable, but the skill and the coordination that they have going into this matchup and able to toe with Fourth Dimension, again, as you said, third place in the last Open Division back in March. I mean, I gotta tell you, if they 4-0'd them or 4-1 them yesterday, uh, either 4D has to bring up the heat today and bring it full throttle, or I don't know. They might just be on a different level.
I mean, yeah, they have been on a different level in the past as well. This is a lot of the core of the old avoided roster, which of
Mhm.
course, has finished second place in European contenders before. And that might mean that they are a level above, but for 4D's case, right? They played them yesterday. When you're playing against these standard OTP teams and you have a VOD, or have multiple VODs in this case, that you're able to study and then prepare for the next day, you probably have a better chance the next day of
That's
reviewing the
true.
footage and then coming back and playing against these OTP teams. Because there are OTP teams. Yeah, they'll maybe change up their playstyle a little bit, but the core mechanics and just the core of how their composition works, that really isn't going to change. So 40, they've got a little bit of time to get this series one for them, but still they have to play against probably the Giants of this tournament, a team that we kind of expected to win it, but they still have a chance.
That's absolutely true. And the EMEA region is vast indeed. Lots of talent seen all over the spectrum. And to see these two teams be able to make it out on top is truly showing how they got past this proving grounds of Open Division. Our first map of the day is going to be taking us to Oasis. Not as much diversity as we typically see on a control map. You know, you got City Center, which definitely you can use that dive or the double bubble as a more maneuverable composition. But typically the other two maps, Gardens and University, are very straightforward. It's brawl or rush, and you just knock it out either on the point or off the point in the side rooms, and then you take control of the objective. So it's going to be interesting to see how the compositions that they utilized yesterday are going to be able to be used today, or are we going to see some of these teams swap it up?
Well, it's going to be extremely interesting, particularly map one, because map one control a very chaotic game mode, possibly the most chaotic game mode in the game. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's the most chaotic game mode in the
Yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah.
And that's heavily going to favor the UTP side of things, right? Because it's so chaotic and your composition thrives off chaos, that's going to make things difficult right off the bat here for Fourth Dimension. What I expect them to kind of come out with is probably some sort of rush composition, maybe the Sombra Tracer variant, and use that and just try and isolate targets. And if you can keep individually isolating players or just taking players out of the game, then honestly, then you can just kind of take the composition apart one by one. Whether Fourth Dimension have enough synergy to do that, we'll wait and see.
Yeah, that's truly going to be the answer here. And while we're waiting for things to get started, why don't you do me a favor, folks at home? There's a little red button below your screen. It says subscribe on it. It's absolutely free. If you go ahead and hit that, and then ding the little bell right next to it, it lets you get notified every time that we're online. Because this is not the only Overwatch action we've got going on today. Later today at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're gonna hop across the pond for the North American Grand Finals of the Open Division, where we're going to have the good old casting duo of Bullskunk and Chef Billy taking us through all the actions through the North American version of SMC, Shoes Money Crew versus Drifters, if you've been following North America at all, they originally were attack mode, had a couple brand changes, and then got picked up by Drifters later on, and now are they are so excited to be finding themselves in Contenders Trials this next go around, but are really looking to make a statement. Their finals match yesterday went to a map 7 barn burner, and SMC just shy of squeaking it out was able to take it on top. And if I'm Drifters and I climb my way back up from that lower bracket, I know I'm looking for revenge.
I think Drifters were 3-1 up in that series as well.
Yeah,
so
they were.
they're going to be kicking themselves by that. But back to this game, Fourth Dimension, they're going to try and redeem themselves. And what's actually really exciting, I'm actually glad that you told people to be notified, is both of these teams are qualified for Contenders Trials that will start on May 24th. That tournament will start and will be live here on the Monkey Bubble Reflash channel. So you'll be able to watch the Contenders Trials with both of these teams in the tournament.
All right, it looks like we're getting into the match right now. So go ahead, get on the edge of your seat, folks, because this is undoubtedly going to be an incredible match to be watching. It looks like we are starting off on the city center for our first map. Again, this is one of those where a diversity of compositions can be used. We have seen the Brawl or Rush metas utilized, maybe put a Widow or a McCree on that high ground for some vantage. But typically you see the double bubble, you see the dive, because it can just maneuver around the point a lot faster, and it's a little bit more chaotic, which it seems to be for these teams to be a staple in some areas.
It looks like Fourth Dimension have decided not to opt for the Rush, but the base Brawl composition instead. Gonna be looking at Ariel, how they isolate Kaya and Ken in this matchup, or even isolating I'm Special. That could be an option for them. Lightbringer in the lineup to play the Winston, so you're not forced into that Wrecking Ball composition or Resist composition for what the rest of the roster might bring. So we'll see how Lightbringer plays in this composition right now. Coolboy switching over to the Honor.
Yeah, this Rush composition is definitely interesting to see. As we see the rotations coming out right now, Fourth Dimension trying to get behind ifgwuayg right now to create that space. They've already got control of the objective. They just got to get it to tick into their favor, and it looks like ifgwuayg just going to go ahead and give that one up. They're going to keep rotating with Lightbringer already down, and Braven finding Kaya in the sky. A good old dink from the Peacekeeper. Gonna go ahead and lock this down as the rest of 4D clean up the action.
Braven's a player I'm so excited to see playing Trials, because he's been kind of in this division, this tier 3 scene for a while, and honestly shouldn't be there. Is a really strong player. Ariel, also another player that's had a really strong start to this series, isolating a couple of players on ifgwuayg, and that's been quite impressive for them. It's also meant I'm Special is going to switch over to the Roadhog. They don't like the Zarya pick into this composition because of how immobile it is, and also after that first bubble's gone, that self bubble, they're kind of on the road. It's going to be difficult for them to defend themselves.
And I gotta say, folks, you might think Roadhog, what a weird pick at this level of play. Just wait, folks. If you missed yesterday's action, you're getting ready to get yourselves in for a treat. Kaya Ore out with the tire, ends up getting the D-Mech onto Ariel to start things off, and there goes the Nano Braven trying to look for that Deadeye, but gets nothing but a Primal Raging Monkey right into the face. And they're going to go ahead and continue to slap folks around off this objective, but on the objective, control has not swapped already, up to 70% right now, and it looks like ifgwuayg having a little bit of a difficult time really locking this one down, but Kaya able to get those picks on the supports. That's going to be just enough to swap this over to control for ifgwuayg.
Yeah, I think honestly, Fourth Dimension could have stalled out a little bit longer, tried to get to 85%, because that means they only need one more team fight. However, this is fine as well. They can now come back in. They could probably use the self-destruct to try and create a little bit of space, and then maybe look to kill an isolated target off with Wizard, and then go for the same patient approach they've been showing earlier this series.
Self-destruct goes high, ends up finding Cool Boy on the high ground. Deadeye from Ken looking to come out and grab some value, but the Maywall doesn't come down fast enough to hold it together. Kaya on that Junkrat just constantly getting the supports, and that's going to continue to allow ifgwuayg to hold.
Yeah, Ariel's going to get out here, and that's huge, because that's a huge piece of the composition needed. This D.Va is so good at isolating targets, is so good at taking players out of the fight. Is going to stay. I'm Special really wants to get that kill with our Draco. Must have got booped up into the cards.
Yeah, that is not a good way to get started here. But Aerial and Salt able to zone out Cool Boy and Lightbringer. Gonna go ahead and eliminate them before they even push into this objective. 65% in climbing right now is Ken able to pay back Frogadier, and I'm Special with that special hook just barely able to get past Chase Torch's shield and take them right on out of here. The percentage is going to continue to climb. Is that a hog? That buff hog from the most recent patch is just going to keep wailing away at Fourth Dimension.
Frogadier goes down pretty early again, however. This time his team has already taken enough space. Chase Torch gets another kill, and now Fourth Dimension are going to start advancing towards the point where Lightbringer's going to come back with a Primal Rage, and I'm Special's going to have a whole hog to try and get them off of it.
That's true. We see T-Sorcerer swapping over to the Moira to try to get back to the point a little bit faster, although they do have a little bit of time to be able to get there. Probably looking to pump out maybe a little bit more heals, earn up that Coalescence, which definitely can be done, but no, you see it right there, folks. Chase Torch ends up coming in with a fat old Shatter, and Braven with a double kill of their own. They are not gonna allow ifgwuayg to go ahead and create the chaos that they did last time around. They are here to send a message as Lightbringer goes ahead and falls on the objective, and now it's just a feed fest to try to keep it in their control. Braven trying to hold on right now, staying very close to Frogadier to get some assistance on taking out Ken, and there it is. The Peacekeeper claims another 2 lives on the objective as we see I'm Special almost grabbing Braven, able to use the Deadeye for the quick reload, and now we've got Lightbringer on the Wrecking Ball, but that Wrecking Ball ain't gonna come in like the one Miley Cyrus used, and that's 100 to 96 as Fourth Dimension locks down the city center.
This is super interesting to me, because this is the map, the main game mode, where this chaotic composition that we're gonna see from ifgwuayg all series long has the biggest advantages, really, right? So, if Fourth Dimension can nick this map, that puts them in a really good place in this series. And I was a little bit concerned with how patiently they were playing at the start of the map. It was working out for them; they were getting teamfight wins. But I don't really think you want to play patiently against a composition like this, because if you kind of isolate yourselves and don't make a decision, you're just going to get walked on from different angles, and that's going to be incredibly hard to deal with. I like the last team fight where Chase Torch played really aggressive, got the amp speed boost, and went for the Earth Shatter. I think they need to be a lot more proactive in isolating targets and getting kills. Ariel's been playing like that, but I think the rest of the team need to follow suit.
Very interesting shift here going into the objective as we see the teams essentially swapping sides. as they make their way in. We see control Ore being claimed by Ifgua, but the fire strike of Chase Torch takes down Lightbringer, and the follow-up just comes in. Chase Torch has been sharpening that hammer, turning it more into a blade to cut through the team of Ifgua, and they will take control of the objective.
Chase Torch has looked really strong. I think that's what's interesting now to point out is Chase Torch was just recently, maybe like a month ago, promoted from 5th Dimension and has been popping off so far this series.
All right, back into the action. We go ahead and see Salt trying to create some space, looking to see if they can zone out the enemy. We see I'm Special swapping over to the Zarya, but unfortunately it might be a little too late. This is going to have to be a dry push, as the only ultimate to come out is going to be that Amp Matrix, and they're just going to go ahead and clean up the rest of Ifgua.
Yeah, I think that engagement was a little bit weird. I like playing fast, but that just seemed a little bit strange. It seems like they're trying to force the situation. No setup going into that fight either.
That's just mean. That's just mean right there, Chase. Come on. Lightbringer walled off, and then you solo shatter him. But the double tire gonna look to try to turn things into their favor. And actually, if Gua have taken control of the objective, 4th Dimension kind of in the side area, looking to see if they can go ahead and bring it back. I'm Special swaps back over to the Hog. All of that all charge lost from originally on the Hog and now back onto the Hog as they go ahead and try to hold it all together. But Braven on that Tracer is indeed deadly and is going to continue to just mow them on down. 24% as 4th Dimension retake control.
And they're going to get a stagger kill on the Coolboy as well. I don't think there's any chance that Lazio gets out alive. So next team fight. What are we looking at? I think the most important ultimate is probably going to be Ken's Pulse Bomb. I think Salt has a Blizzard. It's a really good team fight winning ultimate. The problem is, what are you going to hit, really? I'm Special or T-Sorcerer. Ken has this Pulse Bomb to try and open up this fight for Ifgua.
All right, here we go. Moving into the Mega Room where we say Immortality go down. And Salt able to use the Blizzard to zone out Special and Sorcerer. They're going to go ahead and clean that on up. Coolboy finds themselves over the side, and it's 90% in climbing. We're heading into final fight territory, and Ifgua is already staggered.
I don't think they can touch. There's no one anywhere near the point. Coolboy's dead, and yeah, that's going to be it. 4th Dimension opening up this series extremely strong on Control. You know that game mode? That chaotic game mode?
That one.
Playing against the chaotic team with the chaotic composition? Goes the other way, goes the 4th Dimension. And, you know, if they were dreaming in their sleep about last night, they would be dreaming about taking control. What a start to the series for them. And from here, what I want to see from them is them going and controlling the series. Because not only did they look strong, where their decisions were good, I think their decisions maybe at the start were a little bit slow, but other than that, their decisions have still been good, and they've been really picking up near the end of that last map. But also, I think Ifgua look really sloppy. I was saying that Pulse one from Ken was probably the most important ultimate, and I still think so. Because you would have ult-tracked that Blizzard, and you would have made sure that I'm Special and T-Sorcerer stay away from that Blizzard, because those are the only two parts or components of your composition that could get caught out by that. And lo and behold, you just let Salt walk in and Blizzard those two targets, and yeah, they both go down. And then from there was no real hope left for Ifgua. That map was over. 4th Dimension take Oasis.
Yeah, and you might be looking at yourself saying, why is the score 1-1 when we've only played one map? Well, just as a reminder, as kind of an award for being the winner's bracket finalist, you actually start off with a point in the winner's bracket. So it's actually tied now 1-1. Ifgua just creating some space, apparently, you know, getting warmed up. A lot of players use control as kind of their warm up into the series, but 4th Dimension, they seem warmed up, ready, and raring to go. Just the absolute style that we continue to see. And maybe that was the issue that they had yesterday, is the fact that they weren't able to stay grouped up as much, and were getting kind of picked off from odd angles by this chaotic composition, but it seems like today they know how to lock down ifgwuayg. They seem to know exactly how they're going to operate. And unfortunately, one of the things that really hurt ifgwuayg throughout the entire match on Oasis was the fact that they were switching heroes almost nonstop. You lose all that ult charge over and over again. And on a very unforgiving map mode like Control, you can't earn that back very quickly unless you go to a hero that's like, it's almost instant, which is usually your supports trying to keep everybody alive.
I mean, absolutely, yeah, but I don't think they made many support changes. I think just Coolboy heading over to the Moira was one of the only ones. But going into this next map, it's going to be Escort. If you have the map selection, I'd imagine they want to keep Fourth Dimension away from the Brawl composition, so I don't think Havana is going to be the pick. We're probably going to see something a little bit longer sightlined. I mean, Havana has those long sightlines, but you can still play Brawl. I'd imagine it's going to be Junkertown.
No, did you say Junkertown?
I did say Junkertown.
Oh, sorry. Oh, just something about that place just always comes out of me. Well, it looks like we're gonna have to put that one back because we're actually not headed to Junkertown. Surprise! We get debated all the time here in the casting booth, and it looks like wait. I'm seeing it back and forth in the chat right now, so I'll let them sort it out as to which direction they are wanting to go. But thinking about the compositions that we've seen so far, it's like you said, Ocean. It seems that ifgwuayg is opting for just that chaotic nature, right? They're picking heroes that they're good at. We're seeing more of like a competitive ladder kind of team than we're seeing a competitive team that you'd see in open division, right? All the players are kind of working individually or working in pairs. If there is coordination, everyone's just kind of spread out, or at least that's how it seemed on Control. Whereas for Fourth Dimension, with that brawler rush, you really got to be working as a unit. You got to be moving together constantly to make sure that the heals are there, that you have the speed boost to be able to engage and disengage, and then you have your DPS in position to essentially just melt down anyone in your way. Now, seeing these two going head to head once again today, based on what we saw yesterday, do you think Fourth Dimension has kind of got ifgwuayg figured out?
They look strong in the first map. They definitely have done their prep work, in particular for Control, because that is going to be the game mode that you really need to win if you want to get into this series. Because obviously, if you lost that, you would have been 2-0 down. I like the map pick from ifgwuayg, though. I don't think Fourth Dimension really can just play that Brawl composition that they were kind of one-tricky on the previous map. So the Junkertown pick is going to throw them off. They were teetering around a bit and thinking about going to Dorado, but we are going to go to Junkertown. As I kind of predicted, I don't really think there was any other option. I mean, maybe you could have played Rialto, but again, Brawl is still okay on Rialto and Dorado as well. You can still run them in certain aspects of the map. So Junkertown was probably the only place we really could have gone.
Yeah, that's really going to be the one with the longest sight lines, the most opportunity for those chaotic strategies, because although there's a lot of open space on first objective, when you head into the streets of Junkertown, there are a lot of little cubbies that you could be finding some ifgwuayg players in that could constantly be hooking or junknating or all sorts of things from a side if you're not paying attention. It looks like we have a DC on the field, or quick DC. We're going to get back right into it. As we go ahead and get started off, it looks like we do have a substitution coming in for this map. For the side of Fourth Dimension, it looks like we're going to have the Holy Pig coming in.
Yeah.
Don't mind their actual name. Their pronunciation is the Holy Pig. So it's going to be interesting to see how they change things up. They're coming in on the DPS, and looks like they're looking to throw some logs on that Hanzo.
Yeah, so the Holy Pig was the other player from 5th Dimension, who got promoted recently alongside Chase Torch after the Will English Invitational, where 5th Dimension almost beat 4th Dimension in the losers finals. So that's kind of what happened there. So Holy Pig and Chase Torch got promoted, and we'll have to see Holy Pig and Lasagna because the Spurs did so well on that first map.
All right. Well, we see already if 4th Dimension moving their way out the gate. And we've got this sniper combo right here. Braven opting for the Ash this time around, so definitely opting into that double sniper composition. The big thing is going to be if Ken can battle it out with that double sniper. It's going to be up to Kaya to be able to create that space on the cart with those junk nades and concussion mines, while Ken really deals with the snipers, and the Holy Pig goes down. Glory, hallelujah to ifgwuayg. As we go ahead, whoa! That hold and that head shot just absolutely deadly from Ken. It looks like Ken is indeed warmed up, and that Dragon Strike is already online. Just throws it out there and sees if they can make Ariel into some mincemeat.
Yeah, we've got Abs, who's going to be playing Orisa in this series, so we kind of expected that. We're not going to be seeing Lightbringer or Bow on this map, but so we're playing Orisa. Kaya, he's set up for a Riptire early this fight.
Yeah, the ultimate's already coming out very quickly, and it finds to the Holy Pig, and Andrew go down very early in the fight, and that's going to create a lot of space, but the Nano goes in onto Ariel, and that anti-nade is just going to mow down Abs. Not going to be able to do much against a whole-hogging Nano Piggy. And Braven looking to get the follow-up kills as well. The cart moves its way past the choke and is looking to take objective Alpha.
Yeah, Holy Pig's had enough of this hold. He's going to play the Echo. I would like to see Holy Pig taking more diverse angles, and I think the Echo pick is going to help them do that. Braven's going to stay back and deep. If they need the ball, they will throw it in.
All right, moving into the objective chase, able to hold down Cool Boy, take them out of the fight early, but Ken getting some picks as well. The Holy Pig comes back in on the Echo, but gets melted down. But the Bob on point is going to do all the work for him. That auto turret Butler mowing everyone down in their wake. And I'm special, just taking an interesting position here going into point
I think they
2.
know that he's there because, yeah, they know he's there because they didn't kill them in the last fight. And now they know that I'm special there. They're going to get that kill. And that's going to help them move through point B. And also, maybe even get the high ground. And this point B, honestly, from here, might just be theirs.
Yeah, there's really not a lot that you can do when you have the 5v6 stagger to start things off with. And right now, Ken really trying to be that hit scan right now. The bongos already coming out for chase as we go ahead and see them concussion mined into the sky. Going to be able to continue to sustain here as they go ahead and pull back for a moment. The Dragons might have been too much for the team to handle, and it looks like some space will be created by ifgwuayg.
And I think that's a wasted opportunity for the offense. I mean, they're going to get on special again, so they will have a second one. But now they have time. Is Riptire to deal with. Yeah, you're queued up. How long will you be queued up for? Well, not for very long, because Kaya's Riptire goes down.
Andre able to sight out Kaya right there, and the tire not finding full value. That's exactly not where you want to be. As a Junkrat, the Holy Pig comes in, starts melting them down. Abs, Sorcerer, nothing can stand in front of this Omnic Goddess of the Skies. With 2:30 on the clock, it looks like we're going to see ifgwuayg give up the objective and prepare to fight on objective Charlie.
Yeah, I mean, they managed to capture point B. I mean, the previous team fight was a wasted opportunity, but then they get the exact same opportunity again and pick on the I'm Special. And I'm Special goes down early again, and now they're going to get free space to take the high ground. They're going to get some cart progress as the door opens. Honestly, it's been poor, and Ken already going to be staggered in the backline as well. Pretty easy kill for Ariel to get, and just even more free space for the offense.
Yeah, for certain what's going on today. I don't know if Gua didn't have their Wheaties, or I guess in our case as gamers, their G Fuel this morning, because it just seems that they are not in sync like we saw them yesterday. The duplicate Sigma coming out looking to earn up that gravitic flux, as the Bob creates space on the objective. Double kill coming in for Braven, and there it is, the gravitic flux from the Holy Pig cleans up Abs, and that payload's going to continue to move forward.
Yeah, they're seeming to get a random pick at the start of each fight that allows them to just take so much space and open up a team fight for themselves. There is opportunity with the Supercharger. Abs needs to come out of the spawn and get that down to try and build up all of the other ultimates, like Valkyrie as well, to try and bring themselves back out in the end of point C.
There's only so much that a Valkyrie can do, and it can't heal past the purple barrier right there. Picks coming in for either side right now, but the feed is lighting up in red, and I'm not talking about blood, folks. It is Fourth Dimension mowing us down. ifgwuayg right now, 2 minutes 14 seconds on the clock as they lock in objective Charlie and head to the defense.
Something seems off for ifgwuayg, because that first map, towards the end of it, the decisions they were making, they quite frankly weren't good enough for a team that would be an open division top 8, never mind top 2, the grand finals. And right here, they've made the map the right map choice, because you forced Fourth Dimension to make a composition swap and actually sub out their roster a little bit. It's good adaptation for Fourth Dimension, don't get me wrong. The fact that change was forced, and you kind of can make your own changes because you want to play this map, you should already have a pretty good advantage. And we saw them play with that advantage pretty well on point A. But it all went wrong from point B, from when I'm Special got staggered in the back line, then I'm Special got staggered in the back line again and died twice. And then from point C, early I'm Special died, and then Ken died. It just seems that maybe either they're not taking this matchup too seriously right now, or don't understand that they're in the grand finals, or they're just not playing as well as they team like they should, right? They just are not performing in this grand finals. Fourth Dimension they've been really, really impressive, but I need to see more from ifgwuayg.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see. It might be something about their ball player currently apparently still taking a nap right now, getting warmed up for when they get to enter the fight maybe a little bit later on. But nevertheless, they've got to get some organization here. It's okay to be a little chaotic and a little crazy, but even now, look at the composition they've got coming out of spawn. Arissa Diva? That's I feel like I'm watching one of my plat competitive games right now.
Well, I'm Special's been struggling to find a hero that's going to work in this series so far, right? I think they've played every single archetype. They've played Sigma, they've played Roadhog, they've played Zarya, and now they're on the Diva, right? They just cannot make a hero stick. And when you're playing in an OTP composition, you usually want to play one hero that works with the composition, but it just hasn't worked out so far for I'm Special.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. At least I'm Special can eat up some of that damage, and thankfully they only have the one shield, so as long as they can get that down and get them in a really good position, Abs has been doing really well with those ults. And Kaya able to get that initial pick onto the Holy Pig, and that is going to be enough, hopefully, for them to continue to push through. Braven falling a little bit low right there, trying to see if they can help out Frogadier on the Mercy, but it's not going to be enough. I'm Special says, no, you don't take your attention away from me, all right? I'm here, and you keep shooting at me. You leave the other squishies alone. 5 minutes on the clock as Objective Alpha is captured, and they make their way into the streets.
That was a lot better from ifgwuayg, wasn't it? Right? You have a lot more of a patient approach. They're not gonna start this next fight off with a Riptire and probably look for Chase Torch. I'd imagine that would be the fair target, but they're not gonna be able to find anything as Fourth Dimension is kind of away from that ultimate. Doesn't really mean that much, honestly, because you still have the nano boost to maybe put on I'm Special for the start of this next fight, so you still have a pretty powerful engagement ultimate. So that's definitely going to help you as this next fight engages and starts off.
I have to say, that was probably one of the smartest things I've ever seen from an Orisa. Chase Torch sends the shield onto the high ground to bait the tire into thinking that at least some of the team was up there based on positioning, and ended up wasting a majority of the time, and now they're able to take full control of the high ground, and the Holy Pig and Braven just start raining hellfire down from above. You see Frogadier just kind of going back and forth. Kaya does find Andre in the side room, and Abs taking down Braven. You're not trapping the horse. The horse is trapped with you right now, and it's just lighting up this kill feed. I'm Special diving on in to help take out those tanks, and Kaya gets the final blow there onto Chase. That's probably going to be objective Bravo, giving them quite a healthy time bank. I mean, maybe we're just looking at two defending teams. Or two offensive teams, I mean.
Oh, yeah, I don't think that's quite the case, because I just think this is better from ifgwuayg. I think that they just haven't been playing well so far in this series, and now they seem to actually be getting some setups done, and then capitalizing on the mistakes of Fourth Dimension. I think that's a little better of an approach for them.
All right, well, the Bob invested in the side hallway, and Kaya giving their life to be able to take down the Bob with the passive. Always some of the best kills in the game when they forget that damage will still be done by a Junkrat after all is said and done. I'm Special falling incredibly low. Not going to be able to get that mech back in time, and quite a few ultimates online for either side going into this next fight.
I wonder if the Holy Pig's going to try and play here like Sombra and focus on isolating targets, because they've been struggling to get a hero.
Ooh, nice.
A nice hook for the British like sort of this fight.
Double kill. Able to go ahead and clean up the objective right now. Ariel just being an absolute menace on this Sigma, trying to retreat to the safety of the team. And you see Frogadier desperately just trying to keep them alive right now. It looks like they will go back to holding the stairs and will be able to survive for now.
Watch Kaya.
Ooh, where's
Marching on the left side, looking for a rip tire. There it is. Here comes that rip tire.
Knocking at the door right now. Looking to see if they can whirl it down. There it comes, and you forget. Haha! The Transcendence will not save you from a rip tire. That explosive damage is, well, explosive. Self-destruct going into the back line, and I'm Special finds Chase Torch with it without that shield there to provide space for them to work through. That payload's going to continue moving forward, and right now ifgwuayg looking to tie up the time bank of this match.
Probably they don't have really any ultimates besides the application matrix to get themselves into the next fight. They really do have to try and focus on Ariel, because that's the player needs to worry about. Ariel has that gravitic flux.
Right, here comes the Gravitic as Chase Torch finding both Ken and Kaya on that high ground with the DPS already out of the fight, and the Holy Pig back into the action. It's going to be really hard for ifgwuayg to push back into this. They're not going to be able to tie up that time bank just yet. But just because they're down on time doesn't mean they're out of this match yet.
Yeah, Raven and the Holy Pig both going over to the Tracer and the Echo. And this means you're going to have a little bit more ability, you're going to be targeting from different angles, and Oasis really struggles against that. So maybe they're looking to put a lot more pressure on players like Abs, players like ifgwuayg, the more immobile players on this OTP-ish squad. They're also taking a really deep angle with their Yara as well, which means it's really hard for I'm Special to try and get on the Android. This is a really nice setup for Fourth Dimension. It's going to be quite hard for ifgwuayg to break.
All right, we have the Holy Pig working their way up to that duplicate right now as we see ifgwuayg taking control of this high ground. The Bongos invested early as Ariel gets sent flying. Gonna be able to get away just in time. Braven does find the Bongos, and Kaya amidst the chaos there on the high ground, and a minute 20 remains on the clock. There goes the Holy Pig diving on in to find G-Sorcerer with the help of Braven, and the D-Mech comes in fast and furious, and the Holy Pig gets taken out of the duplicate. They're having to retreat for now, but there's only a minute left on the clock if ifgwuayg want to be able to take this to the next round.
Yeah, I like this Echo pick for Holy Pig. I like this Tracer. pick for Braven. I think Tracer's one of the best. Braven's one of the best Tracers right now in Tier 3, and will be advancing to Tier 2.5. And the Holy Pig has definitely found their role in this series. On the Echo, pretty strong with that hero, and is taking lots of different angles against the Orisa composition that we're seeing from the offense right now. They're struggling to get into the fight. This fight will be a little bit easier because you've got either a Jedi or a self-destruct to try and get yourself in.
Yeah, they gotta make some money moves, and they gotta make them now. Kaya's getting ready to come up on that tire, and Ken's Deadeye is probably going to be their biggest play right here. Combine that with the bongos, probably even a boost. Already, we see the High Noon come out. Ken able to find those Sky Princesses, taking down a Holy Pig and Frogadier. No res, no healing, no sticky mines, no melting beam. And in overtime, that payload's going to go ahead and move its way forward as they go ahead and make their way in, but it's got to get to that final location. Abs just trying to get the shield back up. As you see, I'm Special diving on in. Here comes the Holy Pig with the duplicate, able to get it online in time. Overtime continuing to tick away as they're able to prevent one self-destruct, but can they prevent two? Able to get the DMAC just in time, and there are the bongos. Self-destruct going up for I'm Special, looking to clear the board, and there it is. Grabs Chase Torch, but Braven now on that Widowmaker, first, second, third. Where was Braven at on that map? Was just clicking heads left, right, and center, and there was nothing that ifgwuayg could do about it. Fourth Dimension gonna walk away with the victory here on Junkertown and take the lead in our grand finals series.
Wait, this is a huge shock. Anyone watching this, right? You know, ifgwuayg won 4-1 yesterday. They had a 1-0 advantage. The first map's going to be Control. You kind of expect ifgwuayg to win that map and take us to 2-0. Fourth Dimension play a really solid map of Control and actually managed to take that map and take us to 1-1. Then ifgwuayg have a map choice. They make the map choice to Junkertown, which in theory was the correct choice, right?
Yeah.
You know, if you wanted to get Fourth Dimension off of the Brawl composition, then that was the map to pick. They picked up map Fourth Dimension. They come in with the Holy Pig. They come with a new adaptation. They adapted a couple of times over the course of that map, and they look pretty strong. Now Fourth Dimension 2-0 up in this series, and are looking quite good.
Yeah, there's definitely something going on, and you know, as we talk about sometimes, Overwatch is just as much a mental game as it is a physical game, right? And sometimes you just wake up and you're not there, right? Sometimes you wake up and it's just not your day. I mean, at the end of the day, ifgwuayg have accomplished probably what they came to do, right? They're in Contenders Trials. They're not going to lose that by losing this match. The only thing that's on the line is money. And so really it's going to be dependent on if they can kind of shake it off, if they can really kind of get themselves back into the mindset that they had yesterday for that 4-1 sweep that they had. But we're going to go ahead and send it to a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more EMEA Grand Finals action in a few moments.
Because sometimes
Welcome back, folks, to the EMEA Open Division Grand Finals, where we have got Fourth Dimension versus ifgwuayg wow taking it on here in what seems to be a very odd match. It's not exactly the grand finals that we were anticipating, but again, Fourth Dimension just seems to have the upper hand right now, currently at 2-1 over ifgwuayg, and it's going to be up to ifgwuayg to decide whether or not they really want to stick it out. Again, both of these teams have made it to Contenders Trials. None of that is on the line. It's just the dollars and cents that they're worried about now. And I don't know, Ocean, they've been trying to throw the spaghetti at every single wall and nothing's sticking right now.
Yeah, we're going to be heading to Hollywood next, which tells me that they're probably going to be sticking with this Orisa style that they ran in the last map. It didn't really go too great on Junkertown. I think Junkertown is probably the best map for that Orisa style. And I'm looking at the lineups for the Fourth Dimension. It looks like they're going to keep the Holy Pig in the lineup, so that means they're going to be more of the Echo. And if you stick on the Orisa against the Echo composition with the Tracer, they're eventually just going to be taking too many angles for that Orisa to go. And I think if this map goes the other way at 4D, they could just slip, fall, and get swept. So hopefully for them, they managed to find some momentum here on Hollywood.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that that's going to end up being the case for sure. It's really going to be coming down to positioning, I think, on Hollywood, right? Because now we've got a little bit more high ground to be advantageous of that really needs to be controlled by one side or the other. And based on what we've been seeing, Fourth Dimension has had the adaptability to be able to find their way on said high ground, take that control, sometimes even very early, taking advantage of picks out of position for ifgwuayg, as we saw a lot on I'm Special and Kaya and Ken during that last match. So it's going to be up to ifgwuayg to try to stick together and see if they can turn this puppy right on around.
It actually looks like we're going to see the double bubble come out from the offense from ifgwuayg. I think they kind of know they need to switch off their OTP style a little bit and play some more heroes. Abs is going to take the Winston duty here, so we'll see how that pays out. on the defense, and on the offense, it's going to be that standard brawl composition that we saw on map 1 from 4th Dimension. We'll see if it's still as strong as it was previously.
Alright, the brawl making its way in. Abs on that Winston, gonna go ahead and leap on up to the high ground, and those stairs are right beside. So the brawl of 4th Dimension actually not going to be opting for the high ground, it seems. They're going to go ahead and move back in, heal up a little bit as Abs comes in with a little bit more of that poke damage. Now we see the brawl working its way into the objective. 4th Dimension really trying to create some space right here. But as the double bubble is good at, they're able to kind of poke from all directions. And I'm Special is already almost up to that 100% charge. And as you know, when Zarya gets charged up, she's another DPS on the field to melt anybody down.
The problem is that Draco has nano base, so they can probably throw that onto either Frogadier to keep them healthy, or go into Braven, which that's what they're opting to do. To make that DPS a little bit tankier.
All right, there we go. Braven able to go ahead and get that melt onto Abs, and Frogadier falls as well, but the tanks are out of the fight. Ken soon to follow, and Braven is just at home with this Peacekeeper right now, clicking head after head. Ariel able to get that follow-up onto Sorcerer on that high ground, and that's it. Cleanup comes in, Objective Alpha is captured, and 5 minutes are on the clock for the stream.
That was a really good team fight. You know, we kind of talked about how like Special is close to getting that massive damage that can come out from Zarya. A Draco, that'll boost built so quickly, already 63% to another one. I wonder if they're just going to keep throwing it on Braven, because Braven can then play a little bit more aggressively, it's a little bit harder to isolate, and then to take that space to get more kills. I think I like that nano base position. I think it should keep going for it, since it worked out so well on point time. I'm Special with the Graviton Surge to try and disrupt the momentum of what he has. I'm going to see that come out early.
Massive grab, but the bio nade not gonna keep Braven alive long enough for that Jedi to grab the value it's looking for. The double bubble dives in with the ferocity and speed that you expect from that composition, and that's gonna be a cleanup with 4 minutes remaining on the clock.
That Graviton Surge has to be big from I'm Special. Otherwise, 4th Dimension, they get across that high ground, they get a Deadeye, and they probably get maybe one with that, and then they start to win the fight from there and just play it nice and slow. That Graviton Surge disrupts all momentum. It now means that if Gua will have the high ground, and 4G, if they want to walk towards that high ground, they have to traverse an awful long distance where Khan can disrupt them with a nano blade here.
Yeah, well, speaking of which, it looks like they're getting ready to pull the trigger on it, and they gotta get Frogadier's beat out of there. It's not gonna be useful. Gets traded with the bomb. Ends up finding Frogadier first. Ken just had him in their sights. Grabs the triple kill. As Braven does get the trade onto Abs, not having that main tank in the fight. Gonna be really hard right now to be able to push him back. But that Amp Matrix is gonna provide plenty of enough damage, and I'm Special getting a couple cheeky tactical crouches onto Andre as they get sent back to spawn.
This has been 10 times better from ifgwuayg. They're not using their win conditions how they like. They're going to go over to the double bubble on the offense as well. I think that was the only acceptable call. Double bubble very good against the standard brawl composition, so it's a compositional matchup in favor of the defense. Another Graviton Surge, darling.
Can I just say, I love when I see a good old wall Graviton, even though it only ended up grabbing Chase Torch. It's enough to really disrupt the composition. Kaya coming out with that tire once again. We get that first person blow onto Braven, and that's going to be a cleanup one more time. The time bank's being shaved down to 2 minutes.
I think Braven and Holy Pick are both make the call. Now that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to go over to Ash and Tekka. I would have liked to see the Tracer from Braven here, just to try to maybe isolate I'm Special, because of course that Zarya isn't as mobile as some of the other Titan heroes in the game. You could have maybe tried to make that your primary focus point and put them under pressure, but Ash works just as well. You can try to isolate Kaya. The problem now I have to worry about is Ken is 75% to that Dragon Blade. Glowboy already has that nano boost. The Nano Blade can be online again very shortly.
All right, let's see if they can make it happen. Chase on this high ground. trying to see if they can survive. Falls under 100 health, and Andre just jumping in with the anti-nade. Takes Abs out of the fight as they try to chase down Chase. There comes the Nano. Double kill. Looking for the triple, but you can't deflect a beam, Ken. You just can't do it. I'm Special, though, finds themselves back in the fight and able to go ahead and start melting down everyone else that Ken couldn't pick up. Minute remaining on the clock as payload still stalled at 59 meters.
Yeah, that nano blade was always going to be a problem. That's why there's not too many ultimates online for the defense side of ifgwuayg. They're going to have that graviton surge, so that's going to be interesting. They also may have a ring charge towards the end of the fight. It's hard to know. It's actually fired by Raven, though.
That's not good. That's not a good way to start things off. And let's see if they can make this change right now. We see that grab come out onto the high ground, and I'm Special has a grab of their own, ends up catching the top of the bubble, putting them right in the sky. But I don't think they have enough damage on their own to keep them alive. Sorcerer trying to hold it all together, but Chase Torch is indeed living up to their name, chasing down Sorcerer to make sure that they get out of this fight. And that payload's going to start moving its way forward as Fourth Dimension pulls out the Brute.
Yeah, they actually managed to get the ball out of Braden on the defensive side. Point B defense, it has to be flawless on point B from here on out. You've got the duplicate and the nano vision. But so much options for the offense. I'd like to see the nano go to Chase Torch early, now later fight duplicate and try to clean up whatever you need. Let's see if they can execute this last fight.
All right, the tire comes out. They're looking to stall it right here, right now, and Raven finds the tire and Sorcerer early. Now it's going to be up to Abs to just try to yeet everybody off this objective. Kaya does find Raven in the end, but the Holy Pig comes in with a huge duplicate. The trades just continue to come in, but Chase Torch and the Holy Pig, a coordinated death-dealing duo, will go ahead and take objective Bravo and add a minute 30 back to the clock.
Yeah, I think I would like to see a lot more of Holy Pig on Echo. I think this is one of the looks that suits Fourth Dimension the best. Chase Torch gonna pick early for some early ult charge, not only for themselves, but to try and build up Frogadiers Valkyrie so play a little bit more aggressive near the start of the next fight and still also get the damage boost over to Raven. So that's what they're looking for right now. And of course that's also gonna enable you to build all faster as well. So just building ultimates right now for 4D. We'll see which of those ultimates is gonna give them the edge in the next fight.
All right, back into the fight we go as the ultimate is ready to come online. Grab right here ends up taking out the Dragon Blade because they're not able to get out of that suck too much to do the damage that they're looking for. And that essentially just clears the path for Fourth Dimension as Chase gonna take a little nap, get out of that region.
I'm back.
Whoa.
Getting 2 kills to finish off that fight. Very nice. And that means, you know, the momentum is stopped. It's going to be difficult for Fourth Dimension to get into the next fight. But if they do, they'll have a ball and the duplicate. The problem is getting to the point right now. That's what they have to worry about.
Yeah, seeing that trade come in has indeed been interesting and nice. You see Ken coming out on the McCree, stuns the Bob because the Bob was the only person that was going to be able to touch that objective in time. That's going to stall the card at the 67.5 meter mark, but as we know, payload maps are always the hardest ones to finish out. The fact that they got it that far is going to set them up really well for their defense.
Yeah. Yes, right. Because 2 points in Hollywood isn't actually that bad because point B can be extremely hard to push, especially if you lose that first team fight and your opponent has the high ground. It can be quite difficult to deal with. Double bubble for both sides. I think I expect to see that mirror matchup for the rest of this map in particular, maybe even the rest of the series. What's really unique though is the fact that we're seeing this Ken Genji pick with the Nano Blade, something we haven't seen in a very long time, but they are making it work quite well. They are getting quite a couple teamfight wins with it.
And the biggest thing is that Ken just seems to have their sights zeroed in on whoever it is that they need to go for, right? We saw that in the initial fight where they went straight for Frogadier, took them out before they could release the beat that would have canceled out that blade. They end up taking down T-Sorcerer before they're able to drop the Immortality Field, and it just keeps, or sorry, not T-Sorcerer, Andre. And it just seems to keep working out in their favor. As long as they're able to get that initial pick, that's really going to deny the damage of that Dragon Blade. It's just going to keep working out time and time again.
We'll see what sort of setup they want to go for, if they want to just wait patiently until Cowboy gets up that Anubis and maybe throw it on the arm, but that's probably what they want to do here on the offense.
Definitely want to earn up that primal rage as quickly as you possibly can, but Raven able to get that initial pick onto Kaya, who's using the side room to try to get behind Chase Torch, but gonna be unsuccessful there. Oh, but I'm special! Sends it in deep, and now we see Ken trying to clean it up, able to get some help, but the res still comes in, not gonna be able to hold everything together for long. I'm special, still incredibly charged right now, and it looks like already the Animatrix out and the Nano onto I'm Special. They're pouring everything into I'm Special to indeed show how special they are, and we see the Holy Pig in the backline able to grab that double kill, and unfortunately, because the healing's down, they cannot sustain being on that objective. They do get the first tick, though.
First take, and that's a little bit of progress towards the point. Holy Pig, I like to find Kaya in the backline and help their team out. Actually, that might help the offense get a little bit of space. They are going to take that space onto the high ground, actually, and they won't have that for long, though, as Ariel will take up that space. Both put over the front line for defense.
Alright, we're going to see them move in once again, and interestingly enough, we're not seeing a lot of high ground advantage here. Kaya, what were you doing? What are you doing, fam? That is not the kind of angle that you take when Raven is coming out with shots upon shots upon shots. I feel like there's a song about something like that, but nevertheless, the picks just continue to come in for the side of Fourth Dimension as they hold objective Alpha for ransom.
I think the problem right now that they're facing is the syncing of the ultimates, right? Because you want to have the Nano Blade be on at the same time, and they're not going to be able to get that set up for a while. I think they're just going to have to rely on either Kaya or Abs to make a play, but Chase Torch or Brave are looking real stinky right now.
All right, well, that's a great start. Now, it looks like Chase Torch not able to get the full value out of the leap that they were looking for. Frogadier pulling out the Glock and grabbing one for the stats as they go ahead and take down Kaya as they're getting the chase down. Ken able to find one, trying to see if they can get Andre on that high ground. Just barely able to make their way in there and get that final elimination, but it's gonna be up to seeing if they can take the rest of them out. The dash, the grab, they're just blowing up this kill feed right now, and the rest of the team, except for Abs, is alive. They're gonna spray and pray this objective, making sure it's claimed for ifgwuayg, and they'll take to the streets.
Stop the payload.
I'm so surprised that we were going to see Point A taken on the back of a Nano Blade fight. This is the most important fight right here. The first point B point, where we're going to see both of these teams try and battle out the high ground. Whoever wins this fight gets to keep the high ground for the next one, and you kind of get stuck in a snowball, a little bit of a rut, if the high ground belongs to your opponent.
All right, well, the high ground currently is being held by either side, kind of like the, what do they call it? The Fleets and the McCoys or something like that, dueling families on either side of the objective. That tire, though, is going to create a lot of space so that they can go ahead and take the entire high ground, keep that payload moving. Hatfields and McCoys, that's what I was saying.
Braven is going to match Ken on the Widowmaker here. Yeah, Braven and Ken are going to have a duel on the Widowmaker here. Braven has a little bit of free space for now, but now that's not going to be the case. Ken versus Braven, who's going to try and use their senior advantage in this match?
Oh, we already see Holy Pig on that Tracer, looking to be a nuisance in Ken's behind. but they're going to be able to stay firmly secured with the rest of the team right now as they move that payload in to objective number 2. We do see a contest here from the aerial trying to hold everything together. The nano goes in on either monkey, but sleep comes on in for Andre. Again, finding the shots. Frogadier again lighting up that kill feed, able to get another one for the stats book. And Chase Torch just monkeying around, slapping everybody silly. But that payload almost in, almost able to make their way in. Kaya is just a one-man wrecking crew right now. Ends up getting taken down by Andre as they come back in on the Lucio. And now it's a Tracer battle for the ages. Ken trying to fight it out against the Holy Pig, trying to show who is indeed the stronger Tracer, but Braven does find Ken on the side, and now it's going to be up to them to see if they can hold it all together. Kaya sending the tire all the way from spawn to see if they can clear this objective. Triple kill coming in. Objective 2 is captured, and they're making their way into the studio.
Yeah, good team fight from the offense. They never really gave up there, despite the fact it was looking good for 4th Dimension at the start of that fight. They kept their main win conditions alive. They kept their ultimates for when they needed them. Pretty strong team fight from ifgwuayg. It looks like we're going to see a change in composition from the defense. They're going to go full on rush. Usually you see the wins of this composition. We're going to see the Reinhardt. It looks like they want to get up close and personal.
Right, Sorcerer a little bit out of position, opening up the Ant Matrix to see if they can deal with these tanks as the rush comes out, but it's not going to be enough. Actually, not a rush. We're getting the Sombra Reaper Brawl coming out here. They're looking to do a lot of damage, and they're looking to take down everyone's defenses, and that's a good start. This payload's locked at 26 meters.
Yeah, good team. They got a little bit of momentum on the point, a little bit close to that EMP. That's probably going to be the main win condition. That EMP is probably going to decide who wins this map. In the 4th Dimension with this map, they go 3-1 up in this series. So Holy Pig has a lot of pressure on them right now.
ifgwuayg opting for the Hog against a Sombra Reaper. You know what? I'll live for it. Hog just got a little bit of a buff. If they can hold it all together, that's definitely going to be the way to go. Can't get the hacks off there for Holy Pig as they try to find their way to a health pack to survive. As the nano goes on to Abster, blowing up those shields with that scrap gun. Abs does find Aerial after the deep mag, and it looks like they're going to continue to get those follow-ups in. The dynamic duo coming in as the tire from Kaya finds the double. Frogadier, the last one to fall. There's only 20 seconds on the clock. That payload's got to get in.
But that fight really isn't that important, right? Because this is the EMP fight. This is the fight that decides who wins the map. And they have a self-destruct, they have a wind barrier as well. This is looking really good for 4D.
Ooh, but a fat old crab is in the mix. Both the Blossom and the Pulse Bomb get nothing but Defense Matrix, or not Defense Matrix, Immortality Field. And we see Aerial with a huge bomb in the back line for the trade, but the whole Hog, and nothing but the Hog comes out for Abs. They get the nano, and they're just going to be pushing it in. Overtime ticking away. This is their chance to go ahead and tie up the series, and they got to stay on that card. But the Feed Fest is in favor of 4th Dimension. The mech tries to come in, but T-Sorcerer takes them now before they're able to get that damage into the action. Kaya now back in on that Symmetra, trying to dole in a little bit of additional damage, but Abs essentially in their backline, not able to get back to the point, and it's now being shredded by a Braven. That payload is so close to getting in. Blossom on the objective gets absorbed and taken down by Ken. As we see Chase Torch trying to hold it all together. Still overtime continuing to tick away as they just keep trying to move away members of ifgwuayg. Now we see the minefield come out, and it is a clear of the objective. 4th Dimension securing their lead for now, 3-1 here on Hollywood.
Good last point for 4th Dimension. Very, very impressive. We finally saw ifgwuayg try to get themselves back into this series. And they played quite well for the majority of that map, but when it really came down to the win conditions, 4th Dimension played theirs a little bit better. on point C. I think the reasoning for that is they knew they were going to lose one of the team fights on point C and then have to win it with the EMP, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, that's just an unfortunate circumstance right there. And I gotta say, I guess I understand the swap over to the hog in a certain aspect, but I mean, it just ended up being a battery for Braven on that Reaper, just over and over again, shredding that pig and able to get up another Blossom under a minute as they went into that final objective. And a lot of that damage is what cleared the point for that final push in overtime. And so it's going to be interesting to see how things go forward, because now if Gua is on the back foot, they've got to find a way to turn this sucker around. And unfortunately, we do have to take a short break. We're having some tech issues with Discord right now, so we're going to go ahead and get that fixed up. But don't you go anywhere. We'll be back with more EMEA Open Division action in a few moments. Welcome back, folks. Hopefully, our little tweaks have cleared things up. We definitely don't want to be missing out on all the amazing analysis that Ocean is giving us that we're missing out on due to those connection issues. So, hopefully, we've got that back online for y'all. And now we are down to what could possibly be the final map. And Ocean, after seeing what happened yesterday between these two teams, I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, I mean, you would be surprised. 4-1 scoreline yesterday for ifgwuayg. It could be a reverse of that scoreline for Fourth Dimension. The difference is,
Yeah.
ifgwuayg got a free map, right? They got a free map at the
Mhm.
start, but they actually haven't won a map in this series. I think Fourth Dimension have adapted really well. I think that, when you're playing these OTP teams and you have a VOD, it is so much easier to go and play with confidence against them. I think they're playing quite
Mhm.
confidently right now, and they've been really impressive. So congrats to 4D on how they've adapted to this series, but they haven't crossed the line yet.
All right. Well, let's see if they can continue going. Remember, it's just the big bucks on the line for these grand finals, as both teams will be seen in contenders trials here in the coming weeks. So be sure to keep your eye out on that right here on the Reflash channel. And you can do that very easily by hitting that sub button and dinging that bell so you get notified when we're online. And listening to the music that I hear in my feed, it looks like we are heading to Temple of Anubis for our assault map. And this is going to be the chance that if Gua needs to be able to turn this match on its head.
Yeah, and this is a map that might suit them because Kaya will be able to play the junk right here. And that's going to be really nice, especially on their defense, right? Where Kaya is going to be just spamming a lot of damage into those chokes. It's going to be difficult for 4D to work around that. What I'd like to see 4D do on their attack later on is make sure that they swap things around so they're defending and the opposition are attacking. That's something that they can look to, but now they've got to focus on their attack, and I like what I'm seeing from Fourth Dimension. Let's focus on the defense first. Double bubble matchup again. They're going to look for that Nano Blade win condition once more, as well as Kaya's spam damage on the offense. But here defense, double bubble, poke composition from Fourth Dimension. I like this a lot.
And the thing to be worried about right now, right, is the fact that this map is not similar to the ones that we've seen before, in the fact that there are a lot of cracks and crevices that you can find Kaya and Ken moving their way through, right? You could find themselves going through the side window on the left side of the objective. If they push in through that side, you could find them sneaking kind of into the underground, straight into the objective, and kind of hop on them. And really, this double bubble competition is going to take a lot of attention away from the enemy. And so hopefully they can find those picks in the back line. It's just going to be up to Ken and Kaya to find those windows of opportunity. And right now, Ore falling down to half health, gonna have to retreat back to this side of the bridge. But it looks like the high ground is Ore starting to be controlled by ifgwuayg.
I think you're right with this because you're still keeping a good enough distance where you can poke away and build up your ultimates. And looking to take a duel with Brave and them on this side and poke up that Nano Blade.
That's exactly what they needed right there. And oh! What a rip! Andre ends up finding the sleep guard on the Ken, but thankfully it doesn't matter. The rest of ifgwuayg were there to save the day and grab the objective. Only a minute off the clock. That's going to give them a little over 5 minutes to go ahead and push into objective Bravo.
Right, yeah, that was good set, right? So once they actually took a little bit of space, they had a little bit more time to just set up house Ken in the back line. And from that, they actually managed to get a little bit more space and then collapse right onto Fourth Dimension. 4D, making adaptation of that. They did not like that team fight. They're going to go over to the annoying for the offense. It's all about just poking, waiting for your moment to shine. They're going to nano boost. Sorry, they're not going to nano boost. They're just going to put a bubble on there, and they're going to wait for the Nano Blade combo.
All right, they're going ahead and amping up this damage. You see on the side, Kaya falling incredibly low, finds the end of Raven's Peacekeeper right to the dome, and now it's Abs trying to clear the objective. Not going to end up being successful, but does slap everybody around just a little bit. Raven is in the back line, though, and is just wreaking havoc on their supports. That's going to have to be a reset for ifgwuayg.
That was a really weird setup from Abs. Abs, I think, went a little bit too far in. I think the rest of the team just wanted to poke and win. So that's why I thought they might be going for the Nano Boost onto the Winston. Because Abs was so deep and looking for something that really they should have just been waiting for later on in the fight and then getting that Nano Blade. The good thing is, they will have the Nano Blade for this next fight. They didn't use too many ultimates.
Alright, you see the tire coming out. Graviton Surge coming in. Ends up getting the duplicate there in the end, but Cool Boy still falls to the sticky mines, and now the Graviton Surge comes out for I'm a Special, and indeed they're special. Look at them lighting up that kill feed right now, but the trades come in, Braven's back, and they are indeed the sheriff in their parts. They're going to go ahead and grab that triple kill, but already a tick is taken on objective Bravo.
I mean, you get a tick, but realistically, when you've used Graviton Surge, Nano Blade, and Riptire, you're expecting a lot more, and that was really confusing. See Kaya go for the Riptire onto the duplicate, when realistically, I think they were on Brigadier. I think they could have got the kill onto the Mercy, and just elected not to. They wanted to go for the duplicate. The Nano Blade only getting one is pretty poor value for 2 ultimates as well, so pretty poor team fight to only get a tick from all of those win conditions, all of those ultimates for the offense. And ifgwuayg, your defense will be pretty calm here. They've got both support ultimates with respawn advantage and a dead eye to start off the fight if necessary. And now, lots of switch have to be made for ifgwuayg, which means they have to build up their ultimates from scratch.
All right, well, we see Ken moving over to that Ash, which we know is always incredibly powerful here on Temple of Anubis. And the big thing is that they're going to have to keep their sights onto Holy Pig, but the Nano goes in onto Chase George. Holy Pig falling incredibly low, but going to get saved by Frogadier at the end, who ends up using their Valkyrie a little bit earlier than you would expect. And with those ultimates coming online, you definitely don't want to be wasting those support ultimates. The tire was still in place, but to save the day. Whoa, actually, Chase ends up retreating, it seems, trying to get away before that damage is doled out. Abs going ahead and sending Aerial into the sky as the Deadeye comes out. And now you just got two raging monkeys on this objective. Second tick coming out now as Chase does end up finding Cool Boy in the end. Raven trying to hold on to this objective with Andre on that Zenyatta, trying to discord everyone into oblivion. And that will go ahead and clear the point once again, but another tick has been sacrificed.
Yeah, that was never really going to be an opportunity to capture the objective for ifgwuayg. It was always going to be an opportunity to get a tick and try and open up the fight, and they did exactly that, right? There were so many ultimates with the respawn advantage for the defense. It was always really going to be a 4th dimension teamfight win, but now a lot of those ultimates have been used. So we have a duplicate and a graviton charge to the next fight, so there are openings available here for the offense because they have both support ultimates online.
Right, we see them coming back out with it now. Minute 30 on this clock as ifgwuayg tries to keep that support line and tank line alive. The Bob able to use a bit of that Amp Matrix, but not enough to make a true difference in the way that the composition is moving into this objective. The trades keep coming in as we see the res come in for Kaya, bringing in that doling damage. Chief Sorcerer not even going to allow the rest of the team to get any of those eliminations. Gonna start lighting up the kill feed themselves. They're like, you know what, DPS, I'm just so tired of them being so low, and I see them in the face. But Raven coming out on that Widowmaker. Unfortunately, Widows typically don't touch the objective, so we're gonna see them cleared on out. 43 seconds for the side of ifgwuayg as they make their way to the defense.
Initiating.
Eventually are obviously going to be, you got the money for a minute, which means if you complete Temple of Anubis yourself, you will guaranteed get to go again and try and complete this series, complete Open Invasion, and claim your first place prize. Positives for the offense, this is Temple of Anubis. This is the Assault game mode. You've secured 2 points, and that puts you in a very good position to make sure that this series does not end here on Assault.
Yeah, and as you know, the curse of Assault is that draw aspect, right? So we could see Temple of Draw Anubis today, if at all possible, depending on how this attack and defense goes in round 2. It's really going to be up to the ferocity of 4th dimension to show that they're not out of this match yet. They are warmed up and they are still red hot, ready and raring to melt down everything that ifgwuayg is putting in their way. And actually, we see an interesting pick coming in for the Sombra, for the Holy Pig, looking to get some hacks in and cause a little bit of mischief.
I love this. I think this is the perfect composition to go on here. They're going for the full rush composition. They're going to go straight to the point, and they're going to make sure that they don't have to deal with Kaya's spam for long. They're going to maybe put their DPS on the side and then try and collapse. I think that's another approach you can do, and also hacking the health pack is extremely nice as well.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a huge benefit to them. Even if they don't end up using that side room, that's just denial of heals for ifgwuayg to be able to utilize. And there we go, another health pack for them to be able to utilize on this objective. But Ken doesn't need those health packs, just clicking heads right now as they continue to move their way into this objective choke. There doesn't seem to be a way right now for 4th dimension to get past, so they're just going to hold back for their team to regroup.
I mean, honestly, they should just be going right now. I don't know why we're waiting so long. Yeah, you get the hacked health packs, but you still need to go. Otherwise, you're just going to take so much spam from Ken and Kaya, and then that's what's going to happen. If you're not going to go fast, then don't go at all. Switch compositions. This is not going to work on.
Yeah, we see the Dynamite going into the side room. Gets nothing but bubble, though, so they're going to be able to stay safe and not have a burning sensation just yet. As we go ahead and see Ken already almost up to that Bob. We see the Winston diving in onto the high ground. Chase Torch trying to find some value there on that high ground, but the Bob gets sent into the back line, and already we see Braven on that high ground, indeed being Braven, as they try to see if they can get that pick on to Ken, but going to be unsuccessful. Now we see ifgwuayg kind of goading them into this side room, and unfortunately, dive doesn't work out as well as you would think in the very explosive spaces. And Abs is going to try to see if they can go ahead and take some value on that Kaya, moving this tire around like a symphony right now. Ends up getting the D-Mech onto Ariel, and that might be exactly what they need to shut down this push right here, right now.
Yeah, that's going to be it. I just don't like how indecisive fourth dimension are playing right now. They just need to go. This is a position that prides itself on playing fast and isolating members, right? And if you play fast and you get your rotation right, then a player is going to be isolated. Then a hack goes on, easy kill, right? They're just kind of sitting around, doing nothing, achieving nothing, hoping that this opportunity has itself. So you've got to force that opportunity.
Yeah, well, let's see if they can force it right here. We already see that initial pick on I'm Special. The EMP does find 3, and now that Chase Torch is free of the trap, they're going to get absolutely wild. The Primal Rage coming out, but the Valkyrie is doing everything to keep Sorcerer alive. Unfortunately, too many rockets to the face. Does not a good healer life make, but Ken cleaning it up, still able to get that double kill, triple kill, taking down Chase Torch as well, but now it's Schoolboy out of the action. That's no support on the objective, but Ken and Kaya continuing to hold right now, but there's Braven back in the fight on that Widowmaker. Not going to be looking to get behind as that Tracer, just going to zone him out with a good old scope.
30 seconds, go!
The changes that needed to come a lot earlier. They're gonna have the coalescence to walk into this next fight, and Abs is in a lot of trouble.
Well, we do see that Primal Rage sent out early. Braven does scope out the tire. Ariel finds Kaya before they're able to get out of that tire form. The Immortality holds everything together in the side room, but it may be too little, too late, with 4 minutes shaved off of the time bank and overtime almost taking away. This objective will go ahead and be captured. 3 minutes added to the clock, and fourth dimension moves their way to objective Bravo.
I think they're gonna wait to get this kill and try and stop the short respawn coming in. Now, okay, it's short respawn for Abs, and this is the benefits of defending first, right? Now when you're attacking, know that all you need to do to keep yourselves in this map is capture point B of Temple of Anubis, so you can just wait for the perfect opportunity here, but I do think they have one. I'm fire to engage with him, the Primal Rage make the fight long.
Alright, we're beat invested from Frogadier, the Primal and Sight, so everybody knows where everybody is. The Bob invested once again from Ken, a saving throw if ever there was one, but Bob's not on the objective, so they gotta clear that point, and they gotta clear it now. Ariel does fall amidst the D-Mech due to the bombs. First tick, second tick, somebody's gotta touch that point and keep things going as we see the Holy Pig just cleaning up the airspace left, right, and center. Sorcerer coming back in on that brig, but it's not gonna grab the value that they are looking for, and they don't even need that duplicate to lock it all down. 2:11 gets added back to the clock, and a minute solid for ifgwuayg. It's going to be up to ifgwuayg to really lay the line in the sand and really start that beat reverse sweep.
I don't think realistically that this is going to be a map where they can win this, because with how Temple of Anubis works is you're going to have to be doing a lot of setup for your fights, and 2 minutes and 11 seconds is probably 2 good fights and a setup for one of those fights. Whereas 1 minute, you're really only setting up for one big team fight, unless that first team fight is super quick, which typically in Temple of Anubis they're not. What they can think of positively now, ifgwuayg, is Fourth Dimension really struggled on point A, on both defense and offense, and they've got to keep that in their minds for the rest of this series, for the rest of this map, because otherwise, they're only finishing second place.
All right, but still, they've made their way to trials, which really is the end goal for a lot of these teams here, so I would not be disappointed in the least if you ended up walking away with second place. But of course, everybody wants that dub, man, and you definitely don't want to see the turnaround that you ended up dealing out being dealt right back to you. So let's go ahead and see if ifgwuayg can go ahead and turn this around. Sticky Mind's already getting a little bit of value, but given some good charge time special.
Kaya is set up early, which means that it can get a little bit more stun damage for the whole thing. 21% of that hit also means that a Junkrat builds that reptile a little bit slow.
All right, Aps getting a little bit of poke there onto the high ground, but they don't have a lot of time to move. They got to go in quick, and they got to go in now. I'm Special does find Chase there in the end, and is trying to get that leap with the right click to get into this fight. We see Andre able to get that sleep dart onto the high ground, but the trap ends up taking down Ariel, and now it is Andre and Holy Pig against the world right now. Frogadier has re-entered the fight. They're going to go ahead and continue to get the picks they're looking for. Kaya does find them in the end, but somebody's got to touch that point, and no! What?
Score.
Kaya was right there!
I'm amazed right now. Fourth Dimension now only need a tick of point A if they're going to take this grand finals and win Open Division. And that fight was there to be taken by ifgwuayg, right? Because they got the kill on the chase towards Charlie Leon. I don't know how that kill happened. They got some space in and around the point. That should have been point A, no question, for ifgwuayg.
Yep.
Raven got a couple of really nice kills. Holy Pig was getting a lot of damage. Special was struggling to get themselves into the fight, but still, that player advantage, no main tank for Fourth Dimension, that should have been enough for ifgwuayg to take that point. But it wasn't. It wasn't even enough for them to get a team fight really done. So that was really poor. And now, win conditions set. One tick of Temple of Anubis, and you are the Open Division champions. Will 4D be able to do it?
That is indeed going to be the question. I think the thing that was most surprising to me was the fact that Kaya was right there over the objective, ended up sneaking around that right side to go ahead and grab Andre. And if you got your main healer out of the fight, then that's great. You know, on top of losing your main tank and your off tank, I mean, it's a 3v6 right there. But since Kaya didn't drop down to the objective, even just to sacrifice their life and trigger overtime, that ended up shutting things out. So the question is, will this be success for the side of Fourth Dimension, or will Anubis continue to reign supreme? That's the true question here, folks. Poke just coming out from either direction right now as Chase George is waiting to get that healing up. The rush comes in, moving to that high ground, just poking back and forth all over the place. Raven is on that Widow again, and as you know, that's not the character you want to be seeing. Ken now on that Echo, though, does end up finding Raven and Chase Torch, and just cleaning up the back lines. The res comes in, brings Kaya back into the fight, and Cool Boy ends up paying for it with their life. As the staggers continue to come in, it looks like they will continue to hold this point for now, but it may be too little too late with their supports out of the action.
And Raven and Chase Torch finished up, and they will finish it up. 4D are your Open Division champions. 4-1 is the scoreline. 4-0 is the map scores. Wow, what a grand finals from them.
Man, I feel like Fourth Division or Fourth Dimension was like, okay, winners finals, you won, right? Well, we forgot to tell you, Uno first card, baby, and they brought it right on back, able to escape the lower bracket and bring it right on back around into the grand finals to take away the victory again. ifgwuayg has gone ahead and locked in their spot in Contenders Trials anyway. This was just for the big old bucks, but still some bragging rights associated with that, right? Fourth Dimension gets to walk away the victors. They were third place in the last open division. That's definitely something to be proud of.
Yeah, absolutely. There's two things that I want to address with this result, right? One, of
Mm-hmm.
course, Fourth Dimension obviously did their homework yesterday, made sure that they were really well prepared for this game. But I also want to go to the other side of things. And at any point today, when I'm watching watching this ifgwuayg team, did I think they
Mm-hmm.
wanted to win that series? I mean, they don't really want
Mm.
or have any grit in any of the team fights. You know, Kaya not wanting to touch at the end of Temple of Anubis. It didn't seem quite right to me. I felt like they didn't have any grit in them, no fire in them to win this series. I think they just came for Contenders Trials. And what's really
Yep.
interesting to me now is these teams will meet again in Contenders
Yep.
Trials,
They
right?
sure will.
Because if Goa won these Winners Finals 4-1, 4D made the adaptations and won this series 4-0, 4-1 map score because if Goa got that map at the start for being in the Winners Finals or winning the Winners Finals and being from
Mm-hmm.
the Winners bracket. I'm curious to see if Goa will have that fight in them for Contenders Trials or if 4D's adaptations remain true there. Well, guess we'll have to find out that week of May
Mm.
24th.
Yeah, that's really gonna be the case. So be sure to hit that sub button and hit that bell so that you get notified when we're online. Contenders Trials is just a different animal altogether. Every team is going to be able to face off against one another in a round robin style match. And the top two, I believe, move on to contenders, or the next round, next two rounds actually of contenders, to see if they can battle it out with the greats. Talking about the New Kings, talking about British Hurricane, just absolutely lighting it up. The EMEA Shoes Money crew, as a matter of fact, going to be up there waiting for them as well. So a lot of big names that these folks are going to be trying to fight their way past to be able to get into that higher seed of a competition. But now we got to throw it to a player of the match, Ocean. And I feel that it kind of goes without saying. I hate to be the one to point out the love for the DPS. I usually go for a tank or support myself, but it's Braven.
Yeah,
It
no, it is.
truly
It's
is.
Brandon.
It's just the Braven diff, right? It's just a Braven, just an absolute mad lad when it comes to anything that you put them on. It just seems that the Ash, the Widow, the Tracer, whatever hit scan that they end up going into, they are zoned in, ready and raring to go, and the heads just start to roll. There is nothing that they can do, and Fourth Dimension did an incredible job of constantly setting up Braven for success.
Braven was great today. I thought they played really well. Tracer, McCree, Widowmaker, Ash. I thought they played all of the hit scans. They played extremely well. I thought their Tracer was extremely good. I do think Braven is one of the better Tracers at this level of play. I thought their Ash was consistent. But what kind of impressed me about Braven today is those weird switches over to the Widowmaker. Every single time they find success, and in particular the one on Junkertown at the end where if Goa are about to take point C, Braven just switches over to the Widowmaker, flicks a switch, and kills 3.
Yep.
Like, no other player would do that in this situation. Really well played from Braven.
Yeah, and that kind of brings us to the end of our grand finals for the EMEA. Not a lot of action left here, but you can tune in again later today, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be taking it right on over across the pond for the North American Open Division Grand Final. Is going to be casted by Bull Skunk and Chef Billy, who I know has a lot of love here in the EMEA. You're going to be seeing the North American SMC versus the Drifters going down in that match. And before we go, I had a chance to talk with the manager of ifgwuayg, and I got to learn a little bit about why this name is so important to them. And I'm going to do a recreation really quick. The casters will enjoy that. That comes from the ball player of ifgwuayg, folks. Just sending a random series of letters to the manager and saying the casters will enjoy this. So, joke's on you. We figured it out, and we hopefully have made you proud. And just please don't do it again. It made us cry. It made us cry just a little bit. But folks, thank you so much for joining us today here in the EMEA Open Division. It has been absolutely amazing. Want to give a special shout out to Grimza, to Cinzia, who was able to come in, Demons Druid, all doing incredible work on that production, giving you the angles that you all wanted to see from Ocean, myself, and the entire Reflash team. Thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all later today.